Also new tonight, UNO is embracing the growing field of artificial intelligence.
Arbella Caracas on your side with how the university looks to prepare the next generation when their job search begins.
Interest in artificial intelligence has skyrocketed. According to Google Trends, it recently started to take off in November of 2022 when ChatGPT launched. Since then, Google searches related to the topic have increased 5-fold. In the metro, UNO is working to keep up. Students will soon have another option when they go to college at UNO. Starting next fall, UNO students can major in artificial intelligence, the first bachelor's degree offering in the state.
We wanted to do it fast, not just because we wanted to be first, but we didn't want to miss the tide that is going on. 1 year later would have been too late because AI is progressing at a very fast clip.
Professor Mahadevan Subramaniam is the faculty member behind the push.
Artificial intelligence, it is almost like electricity, or it's a utility.
He explains how AI permeates and penetrates many industries. For example, Boston partnered with Google to use AI to improve traffic patterns. Some hospitals are testing AI to recommend tests or predict disease. Banks use AI-driven chatbots to offer personalized advice.
The projected growth is massive.
The dean of the College of Information Science and Technology recognizes there are potential consequences of AI.
I see this technology not as a threat, but more as a complement. Now, that is not to say that they're not negative elements. There are negative elements to this technology. So for us, it is important that we're not only ahead of the technology, but that we're also very mindful.
The major will require core classes like computer science, statistics, and probability. But the electives are what professors say give the program and students flexibility to keep up with the evolving field. The Board of Regents approved the major today. Now, even though it'll start next fall, students can start taking classes that'll be part of the curriculum to get a head start. On your side, Bella Caracas, 6 News.
Governor